Alright, welcome back to our channel. In the last video number 3, we fetched match data from the API. Now, we'll display it in a structured table using Bootstrap and Flask templating engine. By the end, you have a professional layout ready for filters and live updates. Now, let's talk about the Bootstrap setup. Bootstrap lets us create responsive designs without writing CSS from scratch. To do this, we add this CDN link to the head section of the index.html. Now, we can wrap the matches in a Bootstrap table, just like this. Now, with Jinja2 Loops, we are able to dynamically generate HTML, which is going to replace the placeholders with this. Now, the if statement in our Jinja2 code handles cases where the score is not available yet. To improve readability, we add this CSS in the static folder that we created in the previous videos. We create a style.css file and add the required CSS for our table and when we hover over our table rows. Remember, you need to also link the CSS file in the head section of our index.html file. So, some pro tips and a few takeaways before we get on to the next step. Remember to use table striped for alternating rows and color or row colors. We also want to check for non-values in our API responses. So, at the end of this, we can look at what our data or our output looks like. And in the next video, we are going to add filters to sort our matches by the status. And if everything is looking good so far and you're enjoying it, do me a favor and smash that like button. Also subscribe for more coming in a very short notice. Now, Let's run our Flask app and see what it looks like. We can now get all the matches from the World Cup, the home teams and the away teams, but let's make this more appealing to the eyes and add some Bootstrap themes to it. We can go to Bootwatch. You notice that they have free themes. We'll be looking at the bright theme. It's got some green, just like the soccer grass. We're also going to look at the Vapor theme. It's got a good cool background, which is dark, and the Zephyr theme. So all you do is you download the theme, and that goes into your downloads folder. You can copy it from your downloads folder and paste it in the static folder in your project. Now once you paste it in there, you want to rename it, so name that matches your plans. So Zephyr.css is good enough, and in this case, instead of using our style.css, we can rename it to Zephyr.css, and we should be able to go ahead and preview what it looks like. We have code that we can simply copy to get the nav bars, the buttons, tables, and that's what we're going to do for the table. We just get that class which already has the code in our CSS that we copied over. We could use either the active, default, primary, include the hover, and so on. We can also get other components like the containers, the cards, forms, and so on and so forth. So let's dive back into our code and paste the class that we'll be pulling information from. We also want our table to be striped, and maybe make it primary color instead of having the regular color. So when you refresh it, nothing happens. That's because our code is still running. So we need to go and kill that session and then go ahead and run the Flask application again. This time around, when we refresh it, you see that boom, we get some good styling in the the hover effect, but it's not really good. So we go into the body and add the container class to the body. We can also make the container to be fluid, and that's always useful for responsiveness on every screen. Now we go ahead and we start our Flask app again, and now it looks a little more appealing, with some space on the side. We can add spaces at the top, at the bottom, and around as we need it. And that's about it. Just like that, we're able to get a well styled page with all our matches coming from the API. But guess what? We don't have to use the Zephyr. We can switch to Vapor's theme. Remember, you have to download it just like we downloaded the Zephyr theme, and refresh it. Boom, different style. So it depends on your UI, your theme, colors as well. You can check out the bright theme, and you can see it's going to change it from purple background to a green foreground, and our table still looks pretty, just like how we wanted it to be in the first place. So remember, we also want to see what the data looks like. We mentioned Pprint earlier, so we can go ahead and add that JSON output in our Pprint so that it gets outputted on the terminal for debugging purposes. So when we run our application, the next time we can go back into our terminal and you'll be able to see the entire payload of our JSON output. So that's where we get the home name, home team name, the scores. You can also get the stage or the status of the match, which is what we're going to use to filter in the next video. So just like that, we can pull the scores, the winners, and other information for each of the matches and filter accordingly. Excellent.
So in this video, we've been able to integrate Bootstrap for responsive tables. We also dynamically created HTML with Jinja2, and we're able to handle missing data gracefully. Catch you in the next video. We're going to add filters. We get some live, upcoming, and finished matches we can all pick out easily. You already know, this is Vitusdk, and catch you on the next video.